Capablanca delivers a very powerful and concentrated attack on Alexander Alekhine in this World Championship match against Alekhine. So Capablanca is playing with the white pieces here and Alekhine with the black pieces here. So after g3, bishop to b7 is played here, fianchetting this bishop. G3 is intended to fianchet the bishop and castle on the king side as well. It's the pseudo queen's Indian defense. So bishop goes to g2, fianchetting the bishop. C5 is played here, attacking the pawn in the center. Castles on the king side, Capablanca, and after the c pawn is captured by the d4 pawn, knight captures the pawn back here, and the bishops got exchanged quite early in the game, which is actually quite unusual. These bishops normally stay for quite longer. So d5 by Alekhine now pushing the pawn in the center, and Kepa responds with c4 here, allowing for the capture of this pawn, inviting the capture here. So uh, he didn't go for that. He pushes e6 here, trying to develop his king's bishop here and to castle on the king's side as well. Kappa is already castled here. Kappa uses this opportunity to bring his king out to a4 with a check here, and queen comes in and covers the check here. So knight goes to b5 now, covering the attack on the queen here, and knight to c6 by Alekhine. And as of this position, uh, Capablanca is slightly better in this particular position here. So c pawn captures the d5 pawn and e pawn captures back, and this you have this isolated pawn in the center of the board for Alekhine here. Bishop to f4 here, placing this bishop on this very nice little uh, dark square diagonals where it's quite active. Rook comes to c8 now onto this open c file here, and rook to c1 by Kappa, countering the c8 rook of Alekhine. Bishop to c5, blocking this rook's entry into this particular c file here, and also keeping this bishop attacking the f2 pawn of Kappa. Pawn push to b4 hits this bishop, and bishop goes for the capture of this pawn here with the support of the knight here, but the best move was to go for the capture with the knight here. This allows the rook to capture the knight here, and once the rook captures back, the bishop is captured back here. So for that rook, you got one pawn and uh, two pieces, and rook x6 for a two pieces and a pawn, or a rook plus pawn is explained for two pieces. Sorry about that. So knight to e4 is played here by Alekhine, where the best move was to bring the knight here and attack this nicely placed bishop here, forcing its retrieval. So knight to d2 is played here, and as of this position, basically Capablanca is better in this position, countering this knight's presence here, and the knights get exchanged, and this queen captures the knight back. And now Alekhine does this late castling as of the 18th move, castles on the king side and keeps the king safe. Kappa uses this opportunity to double his rooks up and attack this isolated pawn, and the rook comes to c5, protecting this pawn here. The best move was to bring the other rook on the f file on to d8 and to create this battery, protect this pawn here. Knight now comes to d4 here, and rook goes to e8, and knight reorients to b3 here, attacking the rook here. So rook is forced to go back to c8, and now e3 is played here, but the best move was to bring the knight here. Then you could even push e3 later on. Queen to a4 is played here, but the best move was to bring the queen here to f5. But this allowed the pawn to be captured by Kappa, and rook now comes to c2 here, attacking this pawn, and rook is into the second rank of the of Kappa's position. So rook comes to d2. Kappa's rook counters this rook's presence here, and rook goes ahead and capture the a2 pawn, where the best move was to capture with the queen here and double up an attack on this particular rook here. So this allowed the rook to be captured here, but the best move in this scenario was to bring the rook here to d4 and attack the queen in return. So this allowed this rook to be captured, and now the queen goes to c6 here. Yes, this knight is hanging, but Kappa is attacking the rook here, and you are also threatening checkmate here, so the capture wouldn't matter. So rook goes to f8 here into safety. Knight goes back to d4 now. King goes to h8, where the best move was to bring the rook to d8, but he didn't play that, and now bishop to e5 here, attacking the king pawn over here. f6 now attacking the bishop here, and instead of protecting the bishop, knight jumps to e6 here with the protection of the queen, attacking this unprotected rook here. So the rook is again forced to go to g8, and now bishop drop backs to d4, using the pawn as an outpost where this bishop cannot be attacked. Now both this knight and the bishop exchanged kind of exchange the position. So pawn push to h6, create a breathing space for Alekhine's king, and h4 is pushed by Kappa, and queen to b1 is played here. This is a mistake, and now uh, uh, basically Kappa is better now, and because the knight can capture this g7 pawn, and if the rook dares to capture, queen will come in and capture the pawn here, and even if the queen comes in here, you have discovered check probabilities and capture the rook. A lot of options here. So queen comes to g6 here, and h5 is pushed, attacking this queen here with the support of the knight. We cannot capture this pawn here, so queen goes to f7, keeping the pressure on the knight. Knight retreats to f5, and king now gets able to h7, unpinning this pawn here, and queen to e4 is played now, creating this discovered check probabilities, and rook comes to e8, attacking Kappa's queen. So queen to f4 is played, and queen to f8 is now played by Alekhine. Now the best move was to bring the rook here, and knight d6 make sure that Kappa is winning this game here. So after rook to e7, bishop captures this pawn here with an attack on the rook. Queen goes and places a check, and this pawn push covers the check on e4. Rook goes to g7, and the bishop captures the rook here. And after that, knight jumps to f5 with a check. King goes to f7, another check to c7, and king goes to f8, queen to e7, check, king to g8, and it's a checkmate. And because of that, as of this position, the game ended. Alekhine resigned the game, and Capablanca won this World Championship match against Alexander Alekhine. So that's the game. Thanks for watching. We'll be back with more such videos of Capablanca and Alekhine.